Ground sand. When darkness veils his lovely face, I rest on his unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. When he shall come with trumpet sound, oh, may I then in him be found, dressed in his righteousness alone, faultless to stand before the throne. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. Amen. Dismiss the class.
Good evening. Man, I started teaching, Kevin, and everybody got sick or got surgery or
Nothing to do with
planned trips.
Back to the green beans.
I should have brought a can of green beans, huh? Did everybody get a handout? There's some handouts back there on the back table if you want one. Again, as usual, we may or may not discuss all that, but I hope it serves as a bit of a guide for you. We're looking at Matthew 6:22 through 7:12 tonight. It's a pretty big chunk, but I think it breaks down very nicely into about 5 lessons, which are those 5 points that are on your handout. One commentator I read, James Burton Kaufman, said that the passage is 6:22 about let the eye is the lamp of the body. He saw that, and I've put his quote in there. He kind of saw that as the theme of this whole passage. I would disagree with him a little bit. I would jump to 6:33, which says, Seek ye first the kingdom of God, his kingdom and righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So that seems to me to kind of, everything hangs on that. And I would call that really the highlight of the Sermon on the Mount. That is, he built up to that. Jesus builds up to that, and then everything starts coming off of that. I don't know, an English teacher, if you would say, everything starts hanging off of it, but but it seems to me to fit a diagram or an outline that would be the central thought of this entire passage. So basically, as he starts this talk, and we're not going to read this whole passage because it'd take most of the class time to read it, but as he starts into this, he gets right at a problem any of us people of faith have. And that is, we get drawn into being drawn away. Duality, or getting drawn away from Christ and focusing on matters that, I've got to eat and I got to pay my bills, and I get focused on those matters rather than focusing on Jesus Christ. And he starts off with that example of the eye being the lamp of the body, so that if your eye is clear, and then saying the eye can perceive darkness. And forgot what I wanted to ask you. Okay, the focus of the eye. In most of the translations I read, one commentator made a point of this. He uses singular term for eye. We have a pair of eyes. Why would he use, do you think there's a point to him saying the eye?
I would propose that you can't make one eye see something different than the other eye sees.
Okay,
I mean, you can't, they don't train differently. They don't
Okay.
focus differently.
that's a good suggestion.
Well, people see things differently as well. You know, like the example of people being able to say something to somebody and then in a circle, and then it changes by the time it gets back to you. It's the same thing. You may see something differently than I may. You know, so in the world, you know,
Okay,
that's how it is. You could look at something thinking, some people look at something and it's bad, and then other people say, well, I don't see nothing wrong with that. You know, it depends about your devotion,
okay.
you know.
I think you're getting to the point. I think his point is singular focus on the kingdom.
Yes,
You are the light. If you're going to be the light, you've got to take in the light.
Right.
If you don't spend your time and effort taking in the light, because the eye sees, if you don't spend your time and effort taking in the light, you don't have an understanding of the kingdom. You're going to be filled with your own needs. So and then he starts talking in the next verse, keep losing my place because I use a different Bible to prepare from. I'm sorry.
24, I think.
24, where he says no one can serve two masters. You can't do both. You're either light or dark. You're either, if light fills the body, darkness is chased out. If darkness fills the body, there's no room for light there. So it's impossible to live with your feet firmly planted on both sides of the line.